As you can see, tens of thousands of people are expected to participate in a pro-Israel demonstration in the nation's capital today. The March for Israel rally comes more than a month after the beginning of the war. Attendees include members of Jewish organizations, U.S. lawmakers, and relatives of hostages who are still being held by Hamas. CBS News correspondent Christina Ruffini is there and joins us now. Christina, talk to us about what you're seeing, what you're hearing from attendees, and what's the mood like?
Good afternoon. I think it's still afternoon. Look, organizers here permitted for about 60,000 people, and they may have gotten there. It's not as easy to see from where I am, but I believe we have a wider shot of the crowd. I just climbed the riser to look, and the crowd goes back to the Washington Monument as far as I can see. People we've spoken to are from all around the country, from Florida, also a lot of people who are, somewhere on the eastern seaboard. They could drive, New York, Virginia, places like that. And there are three facets of this rally today. It's called the March for Israel, although there will not be any actual marching. All the festivities are located right here. The first is a march for Israel. The second is a march for the hostages. And the final one is a march against anti-Semitism. And those are three aspects that the organizers of this rally are really trying to tie together and make as one. But as you were with us earlier when we spoke to the brother of one of those hostages, it can be very complicated for these families who want so badly for their loved ones to come home. When you ask them what they think about the government or what they think about the war, or what they think about policy, it can be hard for them to answer. The man we spoke to said, right now, like, I'm not a political expert. I just want to make sure that the hostages are not forgotten in all of this, and I want my brother to come home.
It's interesting. In Israel, there is a 5-day march. Many who are family members of those hostages, who are demanding that the government place the safe return of their family members above all other political, diplomatic intentions. What are you hearing, perhaps not just from this one family member that you heard from, but what are people saying about what they expect will happen? What do they want the U.S. government to do? What do they want Israel to do?
That's the issue, is even people who are unhappy or happy with, even people who think that there needs to be more done to get the hostages home, it's a very difficult question. It's a very difficult task. It depends on your perspective on this conflict. It depends on your perspective on the current Israeli government. When I talk to sources who are non-Israeli sources, Qatari sources, U.S. government sources, they're all very concerned that the more this conflict escalates, of course, the more these hostages are in danger, but the more the general stability of the region is in danger. And the thing that we're really starting to hear now, the concern from officials all over the world, is what happens on day one. If Israel is able to remove Hamas from control of Gaza, what replaces them? Who is going to govern? Netanyahu was asked about that this Sunday and says, Israel doesn't want to, reoccupy Gaza, but you also don't want the Palestinian Authority has said, the leader of the Palestinian people, the president from the West Bank, Mahmoud Abbas, has said he's not going to come into Gaza, on an Israeli tank. He's not going to be a figurehead put there by the Israelis. So the question is not only how to get the hostages home, how to end the conflict, but what comes next. And when I ask people here, nobody really seems to have an idea of what that looks like yet.
Of course. And Christina, there is many of the protests that we've seen of the demonstrations have had other counter protests. There have been also massive marches and other protests in favor or demanding a ceasefire and in favor of the Palestinian people and calling out on the death of civilians in Gaza. Are there protests happening there, counter protests that are happening there today? And what does security look like?
Security is very high, and that's for a couple reasons. DHS has designated this a level 1 event, and that's the same level you see for things like the Super Bowl. That's because of the tenseness of this issue, but also just because of the number of people they were expecting, right? Whenever you're going to have 60,000 people in one location, it's a security concern. There's also a lot of high-level officials who are expected here today. The President of Israel, members of Congress, actors and actresses you may have heard of, like Deborah Messing, and names, that are going to ring a bell. So security is very high. So far from where we are, and we are inside the pen, we have not seen a lot of counter-protesters. Even when I was here early this morning, I wasn't seeing a lot of that. There are some groups who specifically asked their pro-Palestinian demonstrators to stay away from this event today. Perhaps that's an effort to de-escalate and not cause conflict. So far, we haven't seen that, but you know, it's 1 o'clock. It goes until 3, and then everyone you see here is going to disperse throughout the city. So hopefully things will stay calm, but it is something we're watching out for. And as you mentioned, this is not just something specific to Washington. This has been happening all over the world. This weekend in London, hundreds of thousands protested in support of a ceasefire, in support of the Palestinian people, while at almost the same time, about 180,000 people throughout France were doing a rally for anti-Semitism. So like we said, it's a very heated debate. There have been protests on both sides all over the world. But so far today, it's been very peaceful, it's been very calm, and we haven't seen any kind of conflicts on the periphery of this rally.
Christina Ruffini, thank you so much.
Thank you.